Hey guys, how's it going? This is Khan, Mr. So Real, and welcome to this week's Good or Garbage, the #1 place where you can find out what weapons, mods, attachments, and all that stuff is being sold in the division this week. A little bit of a warning. This week, I don't know what's going on in the Dark Zone, but the NPCs are hitting extra hard. I don't remember them hitting this hard, and I can tell you definitely during last week's GOG, they were not hitting this hard. So you're going to see in a second. I got messed up. Them shotgunners have come back. I don't know what they've done, but this weekend it seems a bit jumpy and laggy. There have been quite a few hiccups. And yeah, this kind of happened. Anyway, so there's a bunch of mods and attachments and a couple interesting weapons being sold this week. You definitely should go and check it out. Be sure to take a look at the timestamp down below so you can know what's up. Starting at the special equipment vendor, we have the Historian being sold, and it's actually not that bad. In terms of the base damage, the Historian this week has a 91% max base damage. The headshot is not that great, but again, with 1.8 right around the corner, some of these things can be adjusted, the headshot damage being one of them. Now, the talents that it comes with are Meticulous, Prepared, and History Repeats. Now, History Repeats is one of those talents that just comes on an exotic weapon. Prepared is pretty good for a marksman rifle, and Meticulous, well, you can probably do something with that if you don't like it. And the next hard hitter this week is going to be the Liberator. Now, I actually had to check this out about 4 or 5 times because I just didn't believe it. The base damage for this Liberator is at 99.2%. I have been waiting for a good Liberator for the longest time, and it looks like it's finally come. Christmas is early. Now, the enemy armor damage is only at 18%. Again, the base damage is at 99.2. The talents are Unforgiving, Competent, and Determined. Determined returning those skills even faster with the reduced cooldown by 7.5%. Coming in with Competent, that'll help you after using the skill. With Determined, that's a very good combination. And then Unforgiving, you can just change that if you don't like it. But Unforgiving is also not a bad talent once you get everything to work. And remember, with 1.8 right around the corner again, Stam is going to make a comeback, and I foresee Unforgiving being one of those talents that a lot of people brushed off for a long time and will probably be coming back. Now, the rest of the weapons this week, nothing super special. I wasn't really blown away by a lot of the talents or the base damage. The Pecan had some nice talents with Swift, Brutal, and Pecan, but I believe the base damage was somewhere around 60, 61%, somewhere around there. The Cassidy, the talents just weren't that great. And the rest of the weapons you guys can probably see here. Nothing really ultra amazing. Moving on to the gear, there were some gear pieces that they could be okay, but in the grand scheme of things, when you think about what you're going to have to re-roll and what you're going to have to sacrifice and how many parts of division tech you're going to need, not really a lot of things jumped out for me. The knee pads, if you were thinking of PvP and you weren't trying to use short bows or some other pads, these did have some really nice bleed and shock resistant stats at 32 and 31 respectively. They come in with 8% crit damage, and you get rewards are tripled, but the armor and the firearms are not that great. The armor will be able to go up, and so will the firearms, but depending on how much you really want to spend on buffing that with division tech. The reclaimer braces have good armor on them, but the minor stats and the major stat, exotic damage resilience, I didn't really see a lot of people clamoring for that. If you guys are looking for exotic damage resilience in your gears, please let me know. I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about that, so I've just kind of been giving that the pass. Now, one other thing we can recommend is the Striker's holster. This holster comes with 976 armor. The firearms is at 1264, the stamina at 1231, and the electronics 1247. And this one comes with 7% skill haste, so haste is going to be very good in 1.8, so it is something you may want to look out for. The Sentry's holster, not that great, and again, the defense holster. Good skill haste, but the other base stats just don't really hit it. The rest of the gloves, nothing really amazing. I'll just skim through these so you guys can see them, but of course there isn't really a lot going on. Now the prototype firearms mod at 256 firearms with 3% skill haste could be something for some people. I would like to see the firearms a bit higher, but skill haste again will be making a comeback, so well, it never went anywhere, so it is going to be one of those things you want to watch out for. Secret mod explosion radius, and the rest of these mods, nothing at all worth talking about. So let's see what other things are being sold in the base of operations, and if not, out in the world. At the advanced weaponry vendor, a lot of the weapons are straight poopy doop. Nothing really jumped out at me this week as a must buy, or even a contender for a really good weapon that you guys should probably invest in later. The way that I'm kind of breaking these down are by how much you would have to spend in Division Tech to make this maxed out, and then also the talents that come with it. Now the mods, on the other hand, the extended magazine is not that bad. It comes with 120 magazine size, 3% crit chance, and 4.5 reload speed. So if you do have a slower weapon that needs reload, this could help you out, although crit damage not being there is a little bit of a bummer. And rate of fire not being there is also a bit of a bummer. Remember, reload speed will kind of falsely inflate your DPS. It'll tell you that you can do a lot more damage, and theoretically yes you can, because you'll be reloaded and ready to shoot faster, but you probably would be better off with crit hit damage or with rate of fire in most cases. Not all cases, but most. Now the SR7 suppressor coming in with 18% critical hit damage, 2.5 stability, 2% accuracy, and 41% reduced threat is a nice option to have for some of the larger weapons. This doesn't fit on the SMGs, but the ARs, the sniper rifles and stuff like that, it will work for that if you are looking for crit damage. And the other attachments, nothing really to see here. In the base of operations at the Dark Zone vendor, the electronics mod is looking pretty good. There is a prototype electronics mod with 266 electronics and 3% skill haste. If you've been looking for an electronics mod and you need some skill haste to go with that, this is a pretty good option to go for if you have the Dark Zone credits. In the base of operations special weapons vendor, or not the special, but the regular weapons vendor over by the door, there is a tactical SASG 12 shotgun being sold. The stagger on it is a little bit lacking at 1290, but this is a faster firing shotgun. It comes with destructive, deadly, and unforgiving. Some very nice talents for this type of weapon, and this one has pretty much all the stops in terms of attachments. You just can't put a muzzle, so you can stack a lot of crit damage and crit chance and all of that stuff to make the most out of deadly. If you're not running this for PvE, you can get rid of destructive, but if you are running it for PvE or thinking about having a PvE version and a PvP version, you could definitely grab two of these because it only costs you regular credits. Now if you guys decide to pick one of these up, let me know, what do you keep, Unforgiving or do you keep destructive, or do you buy two and roll something else off? Let me know in the comment section below. Over at the Wolves Den, I know that the AKs don't usually get a lot of loving, so let's take a look at this one. We've got a military AK-47M. The enemy armor damage is at 19%. The talents on it are not that bad, with deadly, focused, and predatory in the third slot. This weapon, I would say, would probably be for the people who just want to go for flat out damage with crit damage, and when they mod with focus not having skills on cooldown, and then predatory for a little bit of survivability. This could work out really well for things like the underground. Don't really know about PvP so much, just because there are better options than the AK in terms of rate of fire and stuff like that, but with 1.8 coming, it could help out, but I really don't see the AKs really jumping up that much. Now the other kind of strike against this weapon is the base damage. The base damage for this weapon is at 63%, but again, with 1.8 coming, you can always bump that. But these talents, Deadly, Focus, and Predatory on an AK, haven't seen that so often. So if you are interested in the AK, then this is one you may want to take a look at. At Kerman Station, there is a very special attachment being sold. If you are in the market for a high velocity magazine, these are very not often talked about, and for good reason, just because a larger magazine means you can put more bullets down range. But if you have a weapon with a very large magazine, like some of the LMGs or maybe even the PP19, this could be a pretty nice weapon to have. This comes with 6.5% crit hit chance, comes with 4% crit hit damage, and a rate of fire increase of 5.4%. So again, if you have a weapon with a larger magazine, this might be a pretty nice one to throw on there just to see how fast you can burn things down with that extra chance, the extra crit damage, and the extra rate of fire. Over in the meat locker, there is another special little gift. Depending on if you're looking for this, the Ti-RANT suppressor. The suppressor for smaller caliber weapons like pistols and SMGs. But on this, unlike the loud vent break, which is really popular, this one has reduced threat. So it comes with 7.5% crit hit chance, 4% crit hit damage. It also comes with 6% headshot damage, and it comes with 49% reduced threat. So if you're trying to stay a little bit off the radar from the enemies, or if you are getting into gunfights in the DZ and you find that the NPCs are harassing you a little too much, you may want to invest in something that could reduce your threat level. But again, this isn't going to be as much crit hit damage as something like a loud vent break, so it is a bit of a give and take. Over at Madison Stand, there is another little special gem that people have been asking for, but not quite. The prototype stamina mod, the purple one, has damage to elites. I know a lot of people are looking for a high firearms roll, but this is what we've got. We've got a stamina one with 212 stamina, and it comes with 3% damage to elites. I know that this thing goes up to 4, but again, this is what we got. There's also a 5% first aid ally heal. Don't know how many people are looking for that, but these two mods are over in this vendor at Madison Stand. At East 64th Street, there is an electronics mod being sold. 258 electronics with a whopping 3,239 skill power. If you are looking for electronics mods for maybe an upcoming 1.8 build and you need that skill power, this is a very nice one to consider. At East 58th Street, there is surprisingly a very nice pair of Savage gloves. The armor on them is garbage, but the SMG damage is pretty nice at 986. The max you can get on the roll for gloves for SMG damage is 1001, so not too far off from the max. Plus you get max crit hit chance, and you're 1% off from maximum crit hit damage at 16%. If you've been looking for some Savage gloves for SMG, these could be very nice, and they will be pretty easy to upgrade in 1.8. If by some chance you missed out on the turret damage mod from last week, you are in luck. Over at West 34th Street, there is the turret damage at 4% being sold. If you need to go grab that, you better go grab it. Over at East 31st Street, it seems like this week is a lot of little small things that are coming in nice little packages. We've got the C79 3.4 times scope, 17% critical hit damage, 2.5% crit hit chance, and 6% headshot damage. So if you are looking for If these stats were a little bit better, if the headshot damage was at 18, if the crit chance was at 3, this would definitely be the god roll. But it is a little bit shy, but still a very, very, very good roll. Excellent if you are looking for one of these. These will come in handy if you are running a Deadeye build, because you can zoom down sights with this and get some pretty good damage. So go ahead and check that out. In DZ2 there are a couple, well, there's really only one thing kind of worth talking about, but there are some okay things being sold here. There's an enduring mask being sold. The armor is at 890, the firearms at 1253, comes with 3.5% crit hit chance, but that is not the star of the show. The star of the show here at DZ2 would definitely be the rapid chest piece. 1978 armor, 1144 electronics. Electronics is a bit low. Comes with 4% all resist. Not a huge fan of that, but the health on it is not too bad at 16,072. Plus it comes with ammo capacity. The tactical bag, the armor on it is straight garbage. The electronics is also garbage, but the health on it is mediocre at best, so it's not a high recommendation. But if you're desperate, I still wouldn't pick it up. The knee pads, the armor on it is so-so at 1535. The firearms on it is pretty nice at 1264. Comes with 3.5% enemy armor damage. Comes with 14% damage to elites, blind, and disrupt resistance. The rest of this stuff is straight trash. I wouldn't even talk about it. So let's move on and see if there's anything else worth looking at in the Dark Zone. Over in DZ5 there is another C79 scope. This is the 3.4 times scope. Earlier we talked about one in East 31st Street. That one had crit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage. Now the thing about this is this one has 1% more crit hit damage. It has 0.5 less headshot damage, and this one comes with optimal range instead of crit hit chance. In the last one I said that maybe that one was perfect for the Deadeye build, but really and truly this would probably be better. Deadeye doesn't use headshot damage or use crit chance, so there's really no reason to have those if you're going to go for the 100%. But optimal range does still work for you. It will be very useful in a lot of situations, especially with the M700 carbon, which has a very low optimal range, and this will give you the extra 1% of crit damage that can make or break how hard and how fast you kill with the Deadeye build. So if you're looking for maybe I would say the other scope is probably better off on the MDR. The MDR, that would be excellent for, because you'd have the chance, you'd have the damage, and you'd have the headshot damage, which the MDR excels at. This one would probably be better for a Deadeye build, so corrections on that. And yeah, let's see if there's anything else in the Dark Zone that's worth checking out this week. Alright guys, that is it for this week's good or garbage. I hope you found something useful that could help out your build, or maybe give you a different playstyle so that you could enjoy the Division a bit more. It's been a little bit stale. It's been a lot of doing a lot of the same things without any new rewards or anything like that going on. And I appreciate you guys coming week after week to support the channel. I know Good or Garbage has been a staple of the channel for a long time, and I know you guys look forward to it. So thank you for all of the support, and I guess that's gonna do it until hopefully 1.8 gets announced. It's not really a lot going on with the Division, but I'm thankful that all of you guys came through, and have a great weekend.